There's a problem in the forums has been coming up and people keep on trying to help, and this is a classic example of overlapping geometry even if it's not duplicated. So whenever you get something like this, it looks like Z fighting, and so the renderer is hitting here and two um, polygons are actually occupying the same space, or at least in the same orientation, same plane. And the reason why I know that this is overlapping is because Blender gives you a few clues. One of them is that this darkened, or this area here when you're in wireframe, is a different tone, I guess you should say, or a different shade. It is lighter, so there isn't really too much overlapping geometry here, except that I can still see Z fighting here. I can also see it right here outside the selection, and I can also see it right here. And so that leads me to believe that because the opacity has changed, and then you can see this on other things that are not selected, that there is overlapping geometry. The other thing that gives it away is that even though this polygon looks like it's all by itself, this highlighted part goes to here, and that endpoint and this endpoint share the same point. Then there's a little jog, and then it comes down here, and then continues here, and goes around. This polygon is sitting on top of another one that goes down in the same direction. See how it runs parallel down to here? This is why I've been saying it's been overlapping geometry. So you don't get this effect without it. It's just not really possible without it. Even if your drivers were borked, it's not going to happen. So then when we look at Blender over here, I'm going to make a cube. Come in here, get rid of that. I have mine blue so I can see the overlap a little bit better. I'm going to get rid of this. As you can see, where there are things that overlap, the opacity changes. Right? This is just one polygon on top of it, and so you can see that. But what we're seeing actually is something that occupies the same space, which is this. And that's Z fighting. That's what I'm talking about. OpenGL doesn't know which one to render, so it chooses by pixel which one to render in certain areas. So it's either going to be this one or this one, but it can't render them both at the same time. So you get this artifact. Even when they're not selected, you still see something that is similar, right, to this right there. If we go into solid mode, you still see the same thing down here. If I were to select this one now, this is the stuff that you're getting. Move it out, no problem. Okay, so there's overlapping geometry somewhere. Pretty simple fix. Try to find out which one it is. Usually what I try to do is I go like this, grab one, and I hide it and see if there's anything else sitting underneath it. If there is, then I know that I have a problem. And then it's just a matter of hiding the right one to find out which other ones to delete, or which vertices merge together, and fixing the topology. But other than that, that's what's going on here. There's no other explanation. There really is no other explanation. So going back over here, we have this one over the top. The opacity has changed. Opacity has changed in all these areas. You still have the artifacting here. OpenGL is not being able to render that stuff correctly. You have this little jog out here. I've had this happen to me before, doing certain things where you have this coming down, and then there's just this strange polygon that just comes out. So that's it.